Hey, Maria, back with another video. It's 11:18 p.m. This is Wednesday evening, December 5th. And, for the last few days, I've been actually falling asleep pretty early. I guess my mind is still spinning on all this bullshit that these revelations I'm coming to. And it, I don't like to sound like, I don't like to over dramatize things, okay? But this issue really disturbed me on so many levels. And, I just recently got a Facebook comment from a friend on Facebook. And I guess, if I don't contact or communicate with people who contact me on via Facebook, don't take it personally, okay? But I will say that I've encountered some pretty weird, bizarre freaks, okay? Not just on Facebook, I'm talking about in general, since all of this whole thing happened. So when you experience these weird behaviors from people, you can't help but be disgusted. So I'm not like disgusted and hate people. It's just that, you become very reserved and very, you don't want to deal with anybody's weird agendas or dramas or anything like that. Because, the freaks that I've encountered, and that's pretty much what I'm going to title this video, is obviously a reflection or the representative of the face of the person who initiated this madness. And when you see that kind of evil in a person, you realize that this world just isn't what they want you to believe. You start to realize just how low people are. And, and that's really, something that I really feel like I have to stress, like, because when you have these sick people, some of these people are very sick. And I know that I've talked to people across the country since this has happened. And even in another state, there was a lady in Canada who so-called interviewed me through an accounting agency in Palm Springs. I guess she was like a consultant. And, people don't have time for bullshit games. They don't have time to play stupid crap or, or dealing with forms of harassment. And that's what it is. It's like, somebody is literally fighting for their life, okay? And you got these sick, twisted, monstrous people who want to basically play games. It's like, I'm sorry that you're sick and you think that this shit's funny, but it's not funny. It's only funny unless, of course, you're demonic. And I would consider these people demonic. I remember having this job interview over at a spa place. And the lady who's giving me the test, she was like, I don't like to use this expression, but she looked like she was getting off on the fact that I was sitting here taking the test. And she was like, it was like this rush, this adrenaline rush that she was experiencing. I considered her to be evil. And she reminded me of a troll or something that belonged in the underground. But anyway, and it wasn't just her appearance, but I would say her appearance did kind of give me even more that vibe, because she looked just messed up in the head. And so when you deal with these kind of sick people who think it's okay to waste your time, your money, the little money that you have to spend time talking to these assholes, you don't want to deal with people. And then I know that a lot of the people who contact me through Facebook probably have been following this ridiculous drama for the last 10 years, okay? And it's like, I feel like a lot of the people who connect with me on Facebook, some of these people I'm sure are very good. And I know that there's probably some perps who I've accepted their friendship requests, because why not? I mean, that's what most people do. You see people with like shitloads of contacts, right? And most of these people aren't close to them. They're not relatives or not old friends. Some of these people are just connecting on Facebook because think of Facebook like a social platform on planet Earth. It is. It's like duplicating it. Because like instead of going over somebody's house or contacting them, people are text messaging and stuff. So everything's happening on a community, a large global community platform, right? So it's just like you're walking down the street and somebody's like, hey, be my friend, be my friend. In other words, instead of like walking down a street and passing a coffee shop and you get into conversation with like another lady or something and you talk about sewing or something and the next thing you know, you're exchanging phone numbers and being friends. On Facebook, it's just, oh, I see your picture, I was reading your post, or you're friends with this particular person, and it becomes, you meet people that way. That's just how it is, especially nowadays. So when you see people with like thousands of friends on their Facebook, these people aren't close circles. I mean, people that are close to you, these are people that people are just meeting online. That's what you do on Facebook. So, but, I accept friendships, and then, I don't really communicate with some of them. Some of them have tried calling me directly on Facebook, and especially from strangers. I'm not going to take that call. You know what I mean? I'm just not. And then, of course, there's some people that you meet on Facebook, and you feel like you can let your guard down a little bit. You know what I mean? But it takes time. And for the people that I haven't contacted, maybe, or responded to, maybe in time I will, okay? But during this time, or at least in the beginning, I was going through a lot, okay? Like, a lot. And it was too much for me. It was like you get sick of people, It's like, because all people represent to you at this point is something evil that really should be annihilated. You know what I mean? And because that kind of evil shouldn't be walking around on two legs. They shouldn't exist, okay? So, and yeah, I mean that. So I'm assuming the people who hear me make this video, they're probably saying, oh, it's really not that bad. It's not that bad. Yes, it is that bad. Because you are showing me the face of corruption. You're showing me exactly why people like me are struggling and people like you are blending into society, because you're crooked. You're crooked as hell. And I know it. And you claim to know it because you act like you're so professional. You claim to know your job, but you don't fucking know your job. But somehow you're sitting there in a position where you're nice and comfortable, right? And you're sitting here talking to me condescendingly, and you're fucking trash. That's what. You're that hidden secret society world that people don't want to admit exist. You're the dark people, the dark web people, or you're the people who conspire against other people illegally to deprive them of their basic rights. Fuck you. Okay? So, yeah, I got real burnt out on people. And so, but the thing is, in my heart, I do like talking to people, okay? But you get burnt out on the bullshit. You don't want to deal with one more programmed, cult-driven fucktard. You don't want to deal with it. And I didn't want to deal with that. Slowly, now it's like, I go to the store, I can talk to people a little bit and stuff like that. I'm okay, but in the beginning, and I would say all the way up till last spring or so, it was fucking goddamn ridiculous. Ridiculous. So I don't know. I mean, when I think about this whole story and the reason behind it, and I'm just like, wow. I see pages and papers about, when you work in a job, people talk about sexual harassment and shit like that, racial harassment, proper conduct. They hear all these rules, right? They sit there and they do it. The leaders do it in front of their subordinates. They do this kind of shit all the time. They spread social canisters. Oftentimes it comes directly from the people who claim to be leaders in that organization. Okay, and yet they sit there and say, oh, I'm trained on this. I know about this. They sign off on it every time. But they're doing it. The whole company's doing it. That's what they are. You know, human traffickers, gang stalkers, whatever you fucking want to call them. That's what they are. And I'm sitting here looking at the reality of the world in my face. Okay? And when it's not in my face, they're calling you on the phone, sending you stupid emails. Oh, you want to come in for an interview knowing good and well they have nothing to offer me. They're just being assholes. Huh? So let me tell you, you're fucking sick. You know? Sick. And like I said, they're going to sit there and be in denial. Oh, you know, it's not really that bad. I didn't mean to do this. Yes, you fucking goddamn did. It's a hate crime. Duh. Anyway, it's like looking at the Ku Klux Klan right up in front of your face. You know? It's sick. So anyway, yeah, I'm not, you know, trying to hurt people's feelings or be a snob or anything like that. Because, you know, really, I am a very social person. Like, I like talking. I like hearing people's stories, if they're, of course, worth something, other than bullshit gossip and some sort of plot to sabotage someone else, okay? But, like, when people tell me about their hobbies and their interests, sometimes when they talk about their vacations, I mean, some people talk about their vacations because they want to sit there and show off and shit, you know? The braggarts. But, like, if somebody went to, like, a historical site or something and took something cool, I'm like, yeah, that's cool, you know, because, you know, I'm not going there, so I'd like to see, like, you know, Egypt or some shit like that. That's cool, you know, but when some people, they just, you know what I'm talking about. You know the people. But anyway, it's funny how people think that they can force and manipulate a person to do something under that sort of behavior. You know what I mean? And you can tell it's bullying, okay? This whole system is based on bullying. You know? They bully people. They harass people. They don't connect the dots, you know, as to what things mean. You know? They basically sit there and push papers and get paid shitloads for it, is basically what I'm saying. And I see this all the time. All the time. That's been pretty much the story throughout my entire work life. There was always some person sitting there acting all privileged. You know, they don't have to fucking turn in their assignment. They'll come around and say, oh, you know, I forgot. In other words, I really didn't give a shit, so I just spaced it, right? And somehow it's okay. They get all the second chances. They get all the understanding. Oh, maybe they were, you know, they're tired or some bullshit. Bullshit. You're lazy ass and you're sitting here taking advantage of some privilege that you have. You know, well, I sit here and work hard. You know, I do, you know, go above and beyond. At least I used to, okay? Above and beyond, and I get fucked over. You know? All because of some stark raving mad bitch. You know? Some garbage of society says, well, I want this to happen. And it's okay. I was thinking about some stuff, and I kept thinking, man, if I said this on YouTube, people, I mean, there's certain things you can't say. You know what I mean? It's not because you're trying to attack people or you're trying to offend people. It's just fucking true. And we know how people hate the goddamn truth, right? We know how much they hate the goddamn truth. That's one of the reasons why they hang up on the phone. That's the reason why they sit there and they unsubscribe, because they hate hearing that they're wrong. You know? But I was having these thoughts today about, and I'm not going to go into it, but just be very general, about how certain people think that they have entitlement. You know, that they are entitled to make decisions for other people, who think that they're entitled to be intrusive into a person's life, who think they're entitled to impose their own fucking... I mean, to me, that is a goddamn monster walking around. Okay? What kind of person would think that way? But I was thinking about some very deep thoughts, right? And I kept thinking, if I was to say this on Facebook, what I was really thinking, oh my God, it would cause an uproar. But the fact is, just like everything else, every time I prove that I'm right, somehow or another, I'm sitting here fucked over for it. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I'm right about this issue, and I'm right about every goddamn issue that was relating to this situation. You know, I remember in the beginning when my targeting first started, like intensely, it's like I would make a video about something that referenced why they shouldn't be doing what they were doing, and it would just amp up with these people. You know what I mean? These sick, monstrous, non-human beings. Okay? And when you see that people are this corrupt, okay, when you see how certain companies operate their business, okay, it makes you disgusted. You become disgusted. Because what I'm seeing right here is the truth, okay? That a lot of these people who are walking around masking themselves as these Christian people are the goddamn devils themselves. It's the truth, okay? And when people think you're attacking God when you talk about the errors that certain Christians do, or the errors that are relating to people who belong in that religion, that's what you're talking about. You're not bashing God. You're talking about people who are walking around truly deceived, okay? Thinking that their meek efforts of posing as a Christian is somehow going to get them into heaven or something along those lines, okay? What Christianity has become, sadly, is a social club, is what it is. A good old boys network. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with respecting God, being closer to God, having a form of spirituality, any of that stuff, or even being a decent human being to your fellow mankind. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about gimme, 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 greed, greed, greed. Okay? And so I have come to the conclusion that a lot of modern day Christianity is the mark of the goddamn beast. Okay? And you try to argue it, but there's certain things that prove it in this situation. Okay? If you can't get certain access to certain things and buy and sell and trade and do whatever you want to do, you're putting a barrier on there, okay? And you're discriminating against other people. Aside from that, what you're doing is not truly Christ-like. Okay? So, yeah, I'm disgusted by people, okay? And I told my friend tonight, I said, you know, I look at it like kind of like The Walking Dead. Like when I walk out the door of my house, okay, I have to expect evil. Okay? I have to. I have to look at people as goddamn evil until they prove otherwise. You know? Because I will not just give my trust away. You know, people have to earn that. They have to. Okay? Because when you got your so-called family who gets sucked up in this ploy, you got people on Facebook that I haven't seen in years who get sucked up in this shit to destroy the life of someone. That's sick. That's very sick. Okay? I would never do something like this to another human being. Never. Ever. Okay? To me, this is the biggest issue that should be talked about in this country. In the world, really, because it's going on everywhere. Okay? And it's not just about, you know, it's because of the nature of it. It's a flat-out crime. It's criminal. You know? And yet you got these stupid people who act like they're so God-fearing, and they're trying to tell me how to live my life? What they think I'm doing wrong? Look at you. Don't you dare tell me I'm doing something wrong. Don't tell me or how I'm supposed to define what's moral and not moral. Okay? It's always the hypocrites. Always. And you know, I remember there was a video about this girl. She was saying, and I agree because I had noticed this a few years before. She was saying that people who nitpick when people use profanity, when these people are the worst people ever. You know? So the words are profane, or they're I'm not saying I should use that all the time, but I'm just saying, sure, they're profane. Sure, they're, I don't consider that vulgar because I don't reference like sexual acts that way, but they are tasteless, okay? Those words are tasteless. But these people are tasteless. Their entire being is tasteless. Okay? But they want to pick on your word. Look at your existence. You are filth. You are the epitome of garbage. And it's the truth. And I won't take it back because it's the truth. That's why I can walk outside and I can hold my head up high. Because I'm right. And I know I'm right. So don't take it personally. I'm sorry, I got off the subject. But anyway, don't take it personally if I'm not talking to you on Facebook. It's just going to take some time because, I've dealt with too much weird shit. Just too much. And I can't tell you how you just get overloaded, I'm sure, within time, maybe a few years from now, I'll be back to my bubbly, socially, giggly, self. But right now, this whole thing has gone on in stages to where, I was sick to my stomach. I was experiencing headaches, tension, nervousness, depression. Mental wreck, okay? You cannot expect a person to function properly when they are dealing with trying to survive, okay? And it went through stages. It's, and I'm still in those stages. I'm still in the stage of where I'm just literally disgusted. Like, it's eye-opening, it's shocking, it's sad because it deals with betrayal, and it deals with, just the weakness of certain people and everything. Okay? It has so many issues wrapped up in this whole thing that it will leave anybody in a state of, whatever. Some people who are in this program never return to work ever again because they are mentally shattered. I'm a strong woman, okay? There are some people in this program who commit suicide, okay? It is illegal to do what these people have done, okay? And knowing that, I can go on, and I mentioned this before, but, I think about, these people who, we're equal opportunity employers. When they subjugate women like you won't even believe. Okay? You're not an equal opportunity employer. I doubt you even know what that means. Okay? So I have to deal with this bullshit on a daily basis. Morons acting like they're the pillars of society. You're not the pillars of society. You're the trash of the society. You are the problem in society, is what you are. Okay? Your prestigious position is not deserved. Okay? There you go. So, Maria needs time. Maria needs time. And rightfully so. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm trying to get some sleep. I've been working on my little art project. And I don't see any problem. I might as well share that. I go to the 99-cent store, as you all know. And sometimes I can't really go out and buy canvas all the time. And I'm not an expert painter. So sometimes they sell these slabs of, it's kind of dark in here, these slabs of styrofoam, right? And I kept thinking, okay, these styrofoam pads, or at least they could be made of pictures, because what's cool about these is that if you paint them, you can just stick them on the wall. Now, this looks very basic, but I made it anyway because, what else is there to do? But I made these flowers and I painted it pink first, and then I made these flowers and put some gems on it, And yeah, it looks kind of, wait, when you're on a budget and you really want to fill your walls with whatever, you do whatever. You know what I mean? So I did that, and I've got my knitting. I'm working my scarf right there, and there's my other bundles, and I'm proud of all the bundles of thread. Not thread. The bargains of yarn I got. I made my beanie. I haven't, like, I made the brim, I think, a little too big because, I got a little carried away. You know, the instructions are saying, well, you need to count your rows, but I got distracted, and I was just like, and I was really relaxed, and it was giving me a good feeling to just keep adding all these ribs. So anyway, yeah, it's a little bit, you know, but I like it. Anyway, and that's the matching scarf that I'm working on. So I'm keeping myself busy, and my mood's a little bit better than it was before. But I will tell you that this shatters a person's reality. Okay, it shatters a person's reality. That's all I can tell you. Okay, it's like so eye-opening to me that what this world really is. I mean, yes, there's evil in the world. We've always known that, but the amount of evil. I mean, just like almost every goddamn person is sick. Okay, they're infected with some sort of dis-ease. You know, and I say that dis-ease, it's like some sort of imbalance, you know, of being a weak-minded person, you know? And that's a problem, you know? I think a lot of people have been making a lot of comments, even videos about how, you know, people are just dumbing down to the point of where, you know, they can't think for themselves, you know? And when you think about this issue, it's like, God damn, you know? If they're not evil, they're goddamn stupid, one or the other. So, wrapping up this video, I'll be back with another one some other time later. Have a good week.